We're back with Stephen Merchant and my trusty sidekick, Adam Eget. Now, you meet at some point in your life Ricky Gervais. Mm-hmm. When does this happen?
At a radio station in England, yes, in about 1998.
And you're both wags?
Yes.
You both work on the air?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, behind the scenes.
Yes, as he was the head of speech, and he immediately decided he needed an assistant when he got the job, and I happened to send my resume in and gave him the job.
Wow.
And I became assistant head of speech.
Do you know what that means?
No.
It was a made up position. Oh. It wasn't a real job.
So that's like the civil service. Is the BBC owned by
This wasn't the BBC. This was
Oh.
Just a local radio station that just launched that played alternative music, kind of like a KCRW.
Right.
And we were sort of backroom boys, and then we had an email one day from the boss that said, I remember quite distinctly, I'm paraphrasing, but it said something like, "What am I paying you cunts for?" I'm not paraphrasing this, it did say cunts. And so we panicked, and then we rushed onto the air and kind of did this segment, kind of jokey segment, and then we got an email saying that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. And then basically that was our relationship with the boss. It would be, that was a piece of shit, anyone like that, and you're fired. That was hilarious, you're geniuses, and it would be very much like that for the next.
So you were just a conduit for his bipolar.
Unfortunately, the radio station launched the day after Princess Diana died. So it was it wasn't quite the sort of fanfare and celebration.
Now
a bit like when Farrah Fawcett died, and then it was usurped by Michael Jackson.
Somebody told me the Queen murdered her.
Yes, she did. Yeah. Yes, that's well known in England. Yeah. I'd like to apologise to the Queen.
We have a comedian named Richard Belzer here.
Right.
So one time I was watching this political show with who's that? Bill Maher.
Right.
And he's Richard Belzer's on. You get to call yourself whatever you want, comedian, you know. He said Richard Belzer, conspiracy theorist.
Wow.
So it's like he believes in all of them.
Is he a conspiracy theorist?
Yeah.
He's known for being a conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, he's written books and stuff.
Wow, okay.
Like he decided to take Mort Saul's career path.
Right.
He wrote a book on Kennedy, John F. Kennedy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you meet. So this explains a lot. So you start. You're the guy's fucking assistant.
Right.
So that never goes away.
Right. Yeah. There we are. So I did a lot of the typing.
Yeah.
And laundry. Yeah.
And that's why you are not in The Office.
No, not really. I think it was more.
Wouldn't he be a great Gareth?
Well, he played Garrett's friend.
Well,
what
show?
The Odd Monster.
Well, do we want to get into it? Is this interesting or is it just boring?
It's very interesting. People love The Office.
Sure.
You know my favorite moment in The Office is?
Yeah.
When David Brent says Gareth, has cars and does karate, and then does them in opposite.
Yeah.
He says, talk about it, and he starts talking about his karate, and he does the car, and then he has to change. So why were you not in the show?
Well,
you must have wanted it like crazy.
No, not really, because we were writing it and directing it and sort of producing it and editing it.
Both of you were doing that.
Well, I know, exactly, but I think if we'd both been in front of the camera and behind the scenes, I mean, I just don't think it ever occurred to me. I mean, it was sort of like, it was kind of, well, I was just amazed we were doing it at all.
Yeah. And
just privileged and like, this is incredible. And I mean, it was only after the series had finished when I saw all the free stuff that Ricky got sent and, and the privileges and the restaurant reservations and everything, that then I thought I'll have a piece of that. But at the time, it never occurred to me. The only reason that Gareth, you might think I would be similar, is because he started doing an impression of my voice.
Oh.
So he sounds a bit like
worse.
No, because we asked him to. It wasn't a surprise. I didn't get in the editing room and go, wait a minute, that sounds like someone I know.
So you say, could you act like me? This must have occurred to you that this is very similar to Larry David. Your career trajectory.
Oh, I see. Right.
Seinfeld too.
You do Seinfeld, then you do a show by yourself. You do a show by yourself.
Right.
And that's what I found fascinating about your show and Curb is then I could see what was Larry David's and what was Jerry Seinfeld's, and now I could see what was yours and what was Ricky Gervais's.
Right.
Because obviously you're not going to steal his moves for your show.
Right.
So that was very interesting. But you must.
But I don't think. I think probably I'm sure if you asked Larry when he was doing Seinfeld, I don't know that he was necessarily, I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't have thought he was necessarily itching to be on screen every 10 minutes. I mean, I think the pleasure of writing the show and making
you
it and
would
everything
think.
is enough, I think.
I mean, I remember, what's his name? Bill Murray said if you have a choice between being rich and famous and just rich, take rich.
Right.
So anyways, you do The Office. It's a big hit. You begin to resent Ricky Gervais. I mean, that's what you said. I didn't say.
Yeah.
His success, not him.
No, I
as a
didn't resent him.
person. Suddenly you're in a different circle, though. I mean,
What do you mean?
Well, money
good.
separates people.
Between he and I, or between me and other people?
Or did you both have enough money that you didn't care? Did you get
seems
enough
there's a-
money? I'm saying, did you get enough money from that show?
Ultimately, I
forever?
did, but not between making The Office and Extras, in which I did appear.
Oh, okay.
But in Extras, I appeared partly because, it'd be nice to have, hotel reservations. Hotel reservations, very specific. I meant restaurant reservations, but yeah, hotel reservations also great. Not that you can't get hotel or restaurant reservations being non-famous.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes it easier.
now-
Makes it
But
easier.
I've never seen a guy. I've been with very famous guys.
Yeah.
And walked into a restaurant and they never go, "Get out, Sandler's here," and kick people out of their,
No, but I think they can probably find a table that perhaps wouldn't be open to someone if the likes of you and I walked in together.
Yeah, you think?
We'd have to line up with everyone else. So yes, that, but also that as we wrote together, I seemed like I was a kind of resource that was there. I was going to be on the set anyway, so why not stick me in?
This is an extra.
Yeah, in Extras.
Something that did not occur to you in The Office.
Right. Well, just because there was not a character that lent itself to me to play, really.
Except the guy
Who's the
that you
friend of-
directed to act just like you.
No. He just did a voice. He did my voice.
He doesn't. Yeah.
He did my voice because.
And Larry David,
George
Jason
Costanza.
Alexander.
Yeah.
George Alexander. What's his name?
George Costanza, Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander did the voice of.
Oh, he was doing Larry?
Yeah.
Right.
So you guys really have a lot in common.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak the Queen's English, but other than that.
Sure. Yeah.
Who has a better accent than the Welsh?
Good point.
Anybody?
That's another great point.
Did you ever meet a Welsh girl?
I've met Welsh girls. Yeah.
How are their voices?
Beautiful. I mean, no one's got a better voice.
The most sonorous voices. This guy I met, you were telling me how you met.
Mm-hmm.
I was in New York, and he worked under the Queensboro Bridge jerking off men for $15 a man.
Okay, so good
$15.
value.
Yeah.
Good value jerk off. And you met him how? You were.
I was a huge
Client.
star.
Sure. Sure.
No, I was a big star.
Sure.
And we have a show in America, Saturday Night Live,
Okay.
and so I was the best guy that was.
You were the funniest guy on there?
Yeah, and then I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a young man. He said he was 18, but he looked 14.
Yeah.
And soft hands.
Beautiful.
And he jerked off men, $15 a man.
Yeah.
So at the time, there was a horrible story in New York. I don't know if this made it across the pond. There's this guy, Albert Fish.
Right.
Do you know his
Never
story?
heard of him.
So what he did was he kidnapped children
Right.
and he murdered them. And I mean, there's no other way of putting it.
Yeah.
But before he murdered them, he would cut pieces off of them.
Would he?
Yes, while they were alive.
Yeah.
But he knew enough. He was almost like with surgical ability to know how much blood the child could lose
Yes.
and still stay conscious and rapeable. And he would take pieces off and put them in a stew. He would make a stew. He would rape what was left of the child
Right.
to get his appetite going.
Uh-huh.
And then he would, as he wrote in many letters that he sent to the editor, and there were a lot of typos which made it more disturbing somehow.
Sure.
I'm not sure why. But he talked about how the rump of the girl was so, this guy was a real jerk.
Yeah, it was beginning to sound that way. I remember when you interviewed Adam Sandler, there wasn't quite as much kiddie rape and murder in that one as there is in this one. I don't know. There was a lot more frothy showbiz stories about your time on SNL. Perhaps you could share one of those, perhaps where you first developed your William F. Buckley impression. Was that a big hit on the show, or?
The Bill Buckley?
Yeah.
Well, we could never get a guy that knew how to do Michael Kinsley. That was the problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be lost on you.
Yeah.
You're from the other
That's
side.
not just going to be lost on me.
Subscribe to Non Burger King.